Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Great Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes are under attack by goo-fuelled dwarves. Butthole made sure their enemies weren't zombies. Quinny started teleporting through combat. Juniper engaged with the unholy beasts. And Reginald nearly ran away before being threatened back into line. Can they defeat a weapon even Archibald Tingler failed to master? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Reginald Tingler enters the fray with a mighty, definitely heroic, definitely not cowardly battle cry, appearing next to his erstwhile kind of brother, Butthole. The two very large men cram the doorway and pretty much keep it blocked off, which is like good news for you, Quinny. As the one goo monster rope belt dwarf and the others sort of like try and fight their way past. But as we established, Reginald's action goes off after Juniper's action. Juniper, you moved in, but I don't believe you got a chance to do any cool stuff. You just got your move. So
I think, did Quinny and I do a cool Misty Step?
You
past
did.
Each
You
other?
absolutely did. But you didn't get to like smack anything around.
Right.
So you appear next to your appropriate quarry. You've got the one kind of like broken up dwarf that's looking increasingly more goo-like given how damaged he is. That's kind of inchworming away. And then you've got the other guy who is affectionately now known as Other Guy, who is too broken to move and whose body is kind of we established like kind of like a bunch of people under a sheet bouncing around and doing stuff. What would you like to do?
I'll kind of move towards Inchworm first, who can still move, and try to dispatch him. I don't know. Fuck. My moonbeam's still going.
It is.
Yes.
Huh. Do you know what? Maybe I'll just be like, Moonbeam, protect me over here. Just the moonbeam will just shift onto these two guys.
I like how like we have this hugely dramatic like moment of the two of you swapping positions. It's you know like it's beautiful like cool anime moment. Everything's amazing, and then you're just kind of like, hey, over here, move that spotlight. Like it's you just
and over at the door, you're seeing an epic battle of two brothers holding zombies within this ray that is just destroying them. This amazingly defensible position. It's just an epic moment. Then Juniper teleports out of the back of combat and takes the weapon with her, so they're just fighting now in the open. It's like, what the hell happened? This was supposed to be a plan.
Yeah, Reginald suddenly doesn't really. Reginald isn't sure why he was so inspired to rush in. If this is what he was rushing into,
I really should have left the moonbeam here. I should have used my sword, but I made that choice.
You got to back it up. It's fine.
Where pots
Listen,
and
my
pans,
characters cannot like what you did, and you can still do it, and that's how D&D works.
Quinny likes what you did because he's immediately like, "This is punishment for you trying to run away."
Yeah, Butthole himself gently kicks you at that point. Not helping.
All right. So the moonbeam moves over onto these two clowns. And forgive me.
They got to make con saves.
Thank you.
DC 16.
It's just become like I was gonna say daily occurrence, but we don't record these every day. We should. It would be a real treat. Okay, con saves.
Oh, I rolled like fucking garbage.
Well, one of my boys rolls okay, and one rolls badly. So I'm gonna say the one that is moving rolled okay, because he's moving and can conceivably get out of the moonbeam. The one who is not moving, bad. So what happens?
I don't know how bad, because I rolled 2d10 and I got a total of 3.
It hasn't got to you yet. The beam started its way over, and it's just caught their foot.
Yeah, it's just sparking.
They just took 3 damage, like, just because they're, like, having a rough time. Like, it's not even moonbeam related.
Yeah, it's an unrelated injury.
What a waste of a moonbeam move.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not like you abandoned your friends to use it. Oh, wait a minute.
No.
No, this is yielding amazing results. This is...
I mean,
This
the
is
important thing is the
fantastic.
payoff. Right now, this is the Bernie Madoff of investments.
Yeah, because we're still waiting on the birdie
Yeah, making big
paid
moves.
off of this this joke.
Making big moves, no profit.
So wait, how do we make a profit? Shh. Moonbeam.
You put more money in, and then I move the moonbeam over there.
I just convince you all that you all still have moonbeams. Don't worry. Don't take your moonbeams out. You have them. They're there.
That's
out of
that's the
where?
joke.
I don't know. Your accounts. Whatever.
Butthole and Reginald just
Laura
stop
got it.
fighting because they're
Yeah.
being told there's a moonbeam still there.
Listen.
Just getting pummeled, being like, I don't know. I don't think this one's as effective as
There
the other one.
are moonbeams for all of you, but I can only give a moonbeam to one of you at a time.
But look how happy that one person is. That one person is thrilled.
And then next time I'll give a moonbeam to someone else, and I swear it's a different moonbeam.
different moonbeam. Yeah, this is gonna work out fine.
All right, I've got a new moonbeam caster joining the organization, so they're going to be providing you with one moonbeam.
Also, listen, if your downstreams can provide more moonbeams, that will mean that you in turn gain more moonbeams.
Yeah, see, the
my
real
God.
problem is we're not training more paladins.
It's a palamid scheme.
We need to get more paladins into our temple.
Palancy scheme? I don't know.
I think you just call it a paladin.
A palancy scheme. I also like that, Ryan, if you found a way to just bring it to a literal pyramid scheme.
I know, that's why I had to bring it back to the temple. I,
love
was
it.
like, then
I
we
love
can
it
build
so
a pyramid.
much.
We're set.
That's very good. Okay, so what isn't very good is the damage Juniper did. That's a bummer, but they're still very much alive. So that brings us kind of back into our janky initiative order. They got fucked up by Reginald's cowardice into her heroism. Quinny, you've just been kicked by Butthole for Snark.
Snark, snark.
Man, that's just been sitting there for 6 seasons.
6
huh?
seasons. Yep.
Jesus. All right.
6
well,
seasons and a bushel of episodes.
70 deep bushel
Yeah.
of episodes. Great. So yes, do your snark. What do you do? You've got you can see the zombie miners kind of like trying to attack Butthole and Reginald. They're no longer in the moonbeam.
Yep.
And as we established, Rope Belt is gooified, so its attacks have very much become like those spiky T-1000 arm jabs.
Hey, here's a novel idea. Why don't I Eldritch Blast them into a moonbeam?
I was going to say, now that you've got your Eldritch Blast powers, when Butthole takes a knee to allow a dog's purpose, what does it look like with Eldritch Blasts involved?
Oh, that's more majestic than me just imagining Quinny kind of like scrambling through your legs going pew pew and just running away again.
Yeah,
Gosh,
Butthole's
that's
kick
much-
turns into a back leg lowering down to give you space.
Then it's it's like a John Woo diving through the air, but instead of a gun, it's eldritch crackling energy surging forth in a beam from my clenched fist as I kind of Iron Man point my fist out. And it's gonna be the two closest enemies to our little, what would you call this, a phalanx?
Yeah, it's in that ballpark.
Yeah, that we've got going on in the doorway, pushing them into the new location of the moonbeam. So I got to roll to hit on these.
There you go. Juniper moves the moonbeam, and we just throw zombies at her. That's the
right.
deal.
Yep. Okay, so that's going to be a 19 on the first one.
Yep.
And a 12 on the second one.
12 on the second one. The 19 certainly hits. The 12 will, pardon me one moment while I check my stats here.
Definitely hit.
The suspense
Fortunately,
is
it will not hit.
Okay. So 1d10 of damage. However, full damage. So that's 10 damage, and one of these bozos gets pushed 10 feet.
Cool. So we're going to say that's Rope Belt, given that he's currently the scariest one. He's the gooified one.
Okay.
So just like, your John Woo fist of Iron Man, it sort of comes out in front of you. Presumably doves fly out of somewhere.
It's
the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So it's literally Butthole's tummy. Just two doves take off from inside his gut. And
Every time you say tummy, I love it so much. Like, I love it more and more every time.
It's the tummy bag. It's where it goes.
Like, the tummy bag. I love it.
All right.
Well, the anatomical terms at play here when we talk about Butthole's tummy is also funny to me.
We all failed
Butthole's
anatomy.
tummy bag. Think through that one for a second. What are you picturing now?
Gray's Anatomy is just the text, the massive tome of medical knowledge. Butthole's tummy bag. I mean, it's got to be in there in like beautifully scrawled ink, right?
That's classic, because I was going to say that mental picture is brought to you by David Cronenberg.
Yeah, Shonda Rhimes actually cites Butthole's tummy bag as the passage that inspired Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, and guess what McSteamy's like in that show.
yeah, she's like, he can fit so many things in his tummy bag. How many people can these doctors fit in their hearts?
Nobody uses the bathroom after McSteamy, I'll tell you that.
So I spend a point of stress to have doves come out of Butthole's tummy bag. And
that's what we were talking about.
It's my job to keep the thread somewhere back deep far away. So the Eldritch Blast flies out of your hand, and as it's like one of those classic moments where like Rope Belt is lurching forward with another one of these spike blasts, and the Eldritch Blast just like I believe the technical term is splorches through the goo, just kind of like stopping the fist from crystallizing properly, and instead it blasts backward. And it's kind of like very much like T-1000. It hits itself, and the goo kind of like the spikes shoot back through it, not impaling it, but just kind of being absorbed as liquid coming out the back. But the momentum of the blast is such that it still tosses this thing kind of pinwheeling back against into the moonbeam. So Juniper, go ahead and roll your. Oh, I rolled a 1, just a nat 1. So.
Well, that's
enjoy.
A bit better. That's 12 radiant damage.
12, you say. Radiant, you say. Rolled a 1, you say. The goo undulates horrifically in the ray of the moonbeam, and you can actually see it kind of crackle and burn a bit. And the Rope Belt basically, as he flies through the moonbeam, kind of starts to turn ashy and kind of a Buffy without the instant fall into dust thing. However, then his body hits the wall, and there's just kind of like a poof as Rope Belt turns to ash. The
nice
radiant damage is super effective.
Is that
hard enough?
Pew, pew.
Is that 1 down, 11 to go?
I mean,
there's
Christ,
two.
okay.
There's 2 in the moonbeam.
Yeah,
it
all right.
Can't be
It's
long
just
for this world.
Well, yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
so,
I thought about that too. Oh, fuck.
Okay. So that is Quinny. Well played. Anything else you want to do before your turn wraps?
As I land, it is that kind of embarrassing running between 2 large men's legs to get back to a safe position. Quinny can move through the spaces of larger creatures because of his halfling nimbleness, and it full on is like cool landing stance, and then just like scrambling back behind Butthole and Reginald.
That's your equivalent of, and I mean, I'm glad the new film finally addressed it, but like Batman taking his cowl off and just having to be like, now I gotta get all this makeup off because it's the only way I can look cool.
Yeah.
All right, great. So Quinny, that's you. That brings us to. Oh man, I've pooched this order. I think Quinny may have just got a free round, but that's okay. That's what friends are for.
I can lose one later. Doesn't matter to me.
No, it's all good, man. There are 11 more. I'm not. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
All right, Butthole. You were technically up, and then Quinny got a free one because he's sneaky like that. He's so sneaky. He snuck back into the initiative order. What do you do?
Great. Knowing that there are 11 more of these and he is still holding this stupid thing, Butthole just starts yelling, just, ah! And he is just farting incredibly rhythmically, just again. Every single one of these little buttholes hanging onto a hammer just like gives Quinny these little flying smooches on the way past because he's at leg height. So he's just getting like pummeled with little radiant kisses as they then sweep out to create like a combat field around Butthole. And while he is yelling, he also, using his bonus action, you just see from them flying around him golden energy begin to surround his body. And he is using his bonus action to cast Shield of Faith. So he can choose a creature within 30 feet. He's choosing himself to increase their AC by 2. So his AC in combat will now be 25.
Whoa! Jesus.
Hachimashi. All right, I need to make a couple rolls. Give me a second here. Cool. So with the bright golden light of the small cavalcade of buttholes, the creatures recall just as you saw the gerbil do earlier. It's such a small space that to be so filled with kind of radiant golden light plus the moonbeam is just like it's become a tremendously hostile environment for these creatures. So Ryan, what's the damage on your little hammer guardians?
Okay, so Hammer Guardians is anybody who enters the field, or we've said if they start in it, they have to make a Wisdom saving throw, DC 18.
Oh, okay, yep.
Whew.
Good, they failed. They both failed.
Great.
Both groups.
Then they take 3d8 radiant damage,
Nice.
which in this case will be 14 radiant.
Sounds like 28 radiant to me. So yeah, just like screams and screeches all around. All of the remaining dwarves start to undulate as goo kind of bursts from them. But the goo is all actively trying to get away now. So they are breaking to flee this horrific golden room. Reginald and Butthole, and honestly, Quinny, you're like between their legs. I think all three of you can take attacks of opportunity if you so desire, or you can just let these things go. Is your other option?
Fuck these things. This is Team Butthole. Like these things remind him of Archibald. Must die. Cannot be harnessed for evil. Reginald has no interest in finding out if these things can regroup in the dark because that seems like the kind of thing evil goo can do. I can't speak for Quinny, but they're just going to smash shit.
Oh, yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, I'll take a swing at these guys.
Wait, Quinny the Merciful is taking a swing? You're known for your giving of second chances to enemies.
This is my heel turn in Season 6. I'm going to be surly now.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Paul Heyman becomes your handler. Like, it just everything changes so fast.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So go ahead and take...
Also worth noting, Tom, when they enter the Hammer Guardians field, if they're trying to get past us, it slows their speed in half while they're within it.
So they're not trying to get past you. They're trying to go for the... Because you guys came in through the side door.
Yeah.
Through the wall. They're going to try and go out through the main front door.
Cool.
Which is like, the way I'm imagining this again, it's a circular room. So off to your left, and Juniper, also off to your left, I guess, because you're facing the same direction.
Yeah.
So they're going to try and scoot that way, but it would make sense to me that it will take them at least one turn of halved movement in order to get outside of the Hammer Guardian field. So you can take a bunch more hits then.
Beautiful.
Okay, so they fail their wisdom saves. They take a bunch of radiant. They're all looking pretty rough. That brings us to their turn. So both.
And then
groups...
you said attacks of opportunity, right? Should we?
Oh,
roll
I'm
those?
sorry. Yes, please.
Cool.
Give me those.
Reginald gets a whole 12.
Sorry, man.
Quinny lashes out with the breach of contract and gets 27.
And Butthole
that would
swinging
hit
in.
Butthole. So yeah, sure, great. That'll hit these guys for sure.
Butthole swinging in with a 23.
Yep. All right.
Nice.
So only Reggie misses, but Butthole and Quinny both get through.
I think Reginald is just also blinded by the spinning bright lights. This is all confusing to him.
Yeah, the Grimdark universe is just like degrees darker just because of course it is. It's got like that shitty modern film lens that everyone uses. So just any real tremendously bright light is like, ah. This is only for fires.
I'm juicing it with the poison on my blade. So we are looking at. That's 13. That's 15, and then plus 7. 15 plus 7, 22.
Yep.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, 22 damage.
Butthole is swinging in while covered in gold energy with hammer farts, and he's also going to use Farts of Fury, his divine cleric fueling power, because this is the first time he's hit something this turn. So he will be doing 11 regular damage plus 12 radiant damage.
Sounds like 24 radiant damage to me.
Yeah, so
All right.
if it's doubling, it's 22 radiant and 11 regular, Tom.
Oh, okay. Well, you could
For a
have
total
that
of
too.
33.
Would have been free. Okay, so Quinny and Butthole, you both, Jaunty Jim and Tin Can Sam are no more under the fury of your blows. And again, same sort of effect. You see the goo just kind of turn ashen. It doesn't. I think Quinny, for yours, it's kind of like off of the blade. It just kind of crackles out, and I think as you pull it out, it's one of those kind of like I'm thinking like, honestly, my brain keeps saying Pompeii, but that's completely wrong because all of those folks were like encased in magma and
Right.
weren't like brittle.
Could it
I think
be
where
like
my
a
head is
Sub-Zero
actually
fatality? Because
like
it's
a
an
Sub-Zero
ice blade?
fatality, or in Ghostbusters where they're like punching through Zool and Vince Cortho, the giant dogs, and they're just like, it's like punching through plaster.
Right.
Like it's that kind of thing. So you pull it out, except, your friends aren't inside. It's just you pull it out and it kind of like parts of it chunk off and fall away. But it really is like an ash statue, an ashu, if you will.
I won't, but go on.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Honestly, it sucks to say, so I'm glad it's not going to be my fetch. It's not going to become a thing.
No. I never asked you to do that again.
So it's part of it slides out with you, but both are very dead.
Cool. 9 to go.
Yep. They are going to go though. I think with the amount of radiant in this room, it's bad as bears. All right, so they're gonna try and scoot. Bad scooting. So Ryan, go ahead and roll your hammer guardian damage.
Great. So they'll have their wisdom save again. So DC 18.
Yeah, that's what I just rolled.
Beautiful.
No
All right.
good.
So the damage will be 11 radiant damage, which will double to 22 folk.
Okay.
Holy shit.
We figured it out, y'all. Radiant damage. Which Moonbeam does also, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's good.
So two more die in the attempt to escape. A couple of them are a little heartier though, so they rush past. But generally speaking, the mob is thinning pretty quickly. So they're going to double move, but that really means they only get like a move and a half. So they're not out of the room. They're just like near the door. Definitely within Moonbeam moving range before you ask. But that is their turn. And then Juniper, for you, Inchworm is also going to try and get out of there. And same problem.
This is his turn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got to make a con saving throw.
They both fail. So Inchworm and other guy are both.
Oh, delightful. That's 11 damage. Radiant damage.
Sounds to me like, yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one who can't move turns to ash. Inchworm is looking real rough, but is still
God damn, Inchworm.
making tracks. Okay, so remaining, you've got how many are dead now? 2, 3, 4, 5. By my count, you've killed 6. Does that sound right to everybody else?
I believe you.
I thought it was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Cool.
6
so-
have died
It's
when we
6.
look around the room.
Yeah.
Or 5
again,
if
like
God changes his mind.
the room is clearing out as quickly as possible. So essentially, like the way this is going to work is we're going to the top of the initiative order. You can try and kill these things as fast as you can, or you can let them scoot. It sounds like you want to kill them, so good luck and happy hammering. But you basically have until the end of this round before they'll be able to just run away unless you do something else to drastically impede them. Top of the round is Reginald. You've just missed with your attack of opportunity. The creatures are fleeing.
Oh, man, that's Reginald's favorite time in combat. He just yells, "For victory!" And he charges in. It's the only heroic moment of the whole thing, but this is his usual style. He is going to cast a blood rite. So he can... A crimson rite is what it's called. So he sacrifices D8 of his own health. 7. All right, that was a high price, but hey, we do what we got to do.
Sounds like 14.
And then he is going to add even additional fire damage to his weapon. He gets to do that until he basically sets it down or takes a rest.
Yep.
He can just kind of like juice it. So he's just going to charge the closest one and throw down. That's his game plan.
Sure, sounds good.
And if they're in the mass, then yeah, he just wants to get in the middle so he can like smash one, and if somebody else tries, set himself up for an attack of opportunity while they run.
Would he go after fresh ones or injured ones?
Oh, injured ones. This guy knows what he's doing. He's not here for actual glory. He's here for credit. It's a different thing. All right, his first attack is a 24 to hit.
Ooh. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Wah, wah.
And that will be doing... Okay, let me do some quick math here. Okay, that will be doing 9 regular damage and 17 fire damage.
Okay. It will not surprise you to know there are screams of horror from the goo. So yes, one of them, that will do it for one of them.
Great. His next attack is a 27. Mm-hmm. Again, not good in actual combat sometimes, very good at running down fleeing enemies. He has a lot of practice of this. Go Horde.
Well, they say that, your worst enemy is yourself, and he knows from running away. So, like, he's got this.
Thank God he has an ability with a great weapon to reroll his damage die if it's only a 1 or a 2. So he is doing 14 regular damage with that one and 12 additional fire damage.
Okay. Another one drops.
Great. And that was him moving and attacking. So Reginald is just in a cutting down the fleeing enemy murder spree.
Yeah, what do those 2 attacks look like, Ryan?
Those attacks, those are just him coming in. And you guys don't get a lot of opportunities to see Reginald actually swing his weight around and realize that he is as capable, if not perhaps slightly more than Butthole in close combat. Butthole is like a guy who throws down with magic powers. Reginald has a shitload of fire on a very heavy hammer that he is coming in, and he is just hammering people into the floor. So it like starts out in a chest hit, but he's like tripping them, knocking them down with the hammer and pulping a torso with one, and then just back swing up and decapitate the next guy with the hammer. It's big and it's incredibly ugly.
Nice. That is terrifying. Like I always just find like there's something about like physically large combatants moving with like incredible grace and speed that's just like, oh, you got no hope. Like a guy that size is just like nimble, you're fucked. That's it. That's the ball game. All right, Quinny.
Yeah, if they're running, I will actually run up and do some melee attack as well. I've been trying to stay at range just because they had numbers on us, but if we've kind of routed them and they're on the retreat, yeah, I'll go for the closest one to the group who's furthest from the door, so to speak.
Yeah, you've got so there's 4 that were engaging in your melee at the door, and then there's the 1 inching away from Juniper very slowly.
I think Juniper can probably grab that one if it's slow.
I think so too.
Yeah, we'll try and spread this out and make the most of our advantage here. So I'll run down one of the other ones and just try to stab them in the back if they.
Yeah, there's still enough. There's enough dwarf corpse that they're driving around.
Humanoid shape.
Yeah, you can see a back.
Okay.
You can see a large enough slab of flesh that is not looking in your direction to assume it's a back, no matter if it was a front previously. It doesn't really matter.
All right.
Yeah.
That's not a great roll. So that's going to be a total of 15 to hit.
15 will do it.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I was not able to recharge my poison. So we're just doing 2d6 here. 6 plus 7, 13.
13? Okay.
Yeah.
Not enough, unfortunately, without radiant or fire.
Well.
But definitely the thing is looking very badly injured as it continues to
All right.
panic, flee.
If it continues to run, then I think that gives me an attack of opportunity because I ran up on it.
You are correct. Great. That brings us to Juniper. Inchworm, be inchin.
Inchworm is still in the moonbeam, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, it takes an action for me to move the moonbeam, so I can't actually, like, attack it without stepping into my own
It is also going very slowly.
moonbeam.
If you wanted to move the moonbeam, like, this thing isn't...
But
It's not going to escape.
Oh.
I mean, it could. You never know. Ooh, but it probably won't.
Okay. Quinny's engaged with one of them, or did he just disengage?
Yep.
One of them, the one that's straggling behind, second most after.
So that would mean
Okay.
there are 3 that are unengaged from that mob, 1 that is engaged with Quinny, and then there's Inchworm.
Okay. I will then use my action to move the moonbeam to encompass the 3 that are not engaged. And try to do some damage there. Hopefully. Con save 16, BB.
One of them saves, 2 of them don't.
Okay, so 15, aka 30 radiant damage on the ones that don't
Presumptuous
save.
of you, but also correct. So.
And then 15 on the one that saved.
Okay, great. So that will annihilate those 3. I also think my math was a bit fucky on this, so there's probably 1 extra one kicking around that shouldn't be. So suffice to say, in the blast of the moonbeam kind of rolls in between Reginald's attacks. Quinny's in there stabbing. Butthole is just standing there with tiny buttholes flying around him. And then, just as you roll back to join the group, Juniper, you just do like a no-look over-the-shoulder pistol shot into Inchworm. And you find yourselves victorious in the boss room that had no boss in it in terms of like
No living boss.
RPG mechanics, but a boss is there.
So Butthole turns around and just says, "All right, Juniper, so is yours still alive?"
Juniper walks over and nudges it with her toe.
Juniper, would you have...
rolls over.
I narratively coup de grace it on your behalf. Would you have coup de grace it?
Oh, she agreed.
I agreed, yeah. Hell
Then
yeah.
no.
So it's dust. Is it dust?
I mean, once you nudged it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's dead.
Oh, well, it might have been good for us to be able to interrogate one of them, but I guess I have to read all this paper.
Oh, well,
Poor
hang
Butthole.
on.
The only one who can read Dwarven.
Right, yeah, that is unfortunate. Just walking up like Quinny's like, I'm helping. Here's a stack. Just like read it, I guess. I'll go find more. But no, Quinny jumps up on the desk where this corpse is, and he's like, look at this guy. This is a Naka guy. And Reginald, you read, bad things, right, or whatever. I'm just gonna pick up the skull and be like, here, talk to this guy, and I throw the skull at Reginald.
And I think Reginald was about to refuse, but he instinctively catches the skull and the ability kicks in. Like he can't avoid it because he touched it.
Nice.
Just like fucking Rogue from the X-Men. Like, oh no. So I should. I guess I can see the past now.
That is, oh God. That is a 24 for his grim psychometry.
Okay. And Ryan, we've talked about grim psychometry kind of at length at this point already, but is it, how targeted is it?
Just to run for, so it recalls info about dark objects I'm touching or dark places I'm present in. So it always focuses on the darker aspect of history, and it can convey images or history I wasn't previously aware of on a higher roll. So it's very much like, did spooky shit happen?
Yeah.
If you roll high, maybe you see some of it up to DM. So you can't just be like, I touch everything in the room and now I know the villain's plans. There's no story anymore.
Yeah, discombobulate. And you just got it. You got the whole fight.
Yeah, it's him versus the bad guy's bedroom. He's like, perfect. I've touched his bed. His mother never loved him.
But he loved himself a lot.
Don't touch the sheets.
Oh, no. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. It's all good.
Yeah.
I lay down in the bed. I'm pregnant now, but good for him.
It's not a dark fact. It's just a fact.
Lay down in the bed, just a dust cloud.
Wait,
The sheets crunch.
how many dead goo monsters were in there? All right, so
I can use these sheets as a shield.
You catch the skull and just immediately you get like assaulted with images from this guy. And I don't know if all of you have seen the cinematic masterpiece Ghost Ship, but there is a montage in that fucking movie that's just like fast action. Here's how everyone on the ship was an asshole to each other. And it's fucked up. It is a fucked up fast action, like here's a bunch of bad stuff back to back to back to back to back. And that's kind of what you get, Butthole, is just like a series of disconnected glimpses of just like an extraordinarily handsome dwarf. Like he's just got like a bit of that John Hamm vibe of like handsome to an almost uncomfortable degree. And the only thing that kind of mars this physical beauty is there is a conniving grin on his face that you can actually see is keeping him apart from his peers. So despite his objectively beautiful features, no one is talking to this guy. And there's just those moments of like, you get glimpses of him being drastically apart from
I was going to say, Reginald is already strongly identifying with this dwarf. Beautiful, ignored by others. It's the Reginald story all over again.
Yeah, well, that's not so far off because you're seeing just like glimpses of that, and you can almost taste the kind of bitterness about being excluded, despite your obvious brilliance. And then you see just a glimpse that kind of turns your blood cold of an imperious-looking woman whose features are unmistakably like nobility of Akka, and just kind of like a little bit like a Darth Vader or a Krennic leading a bunch of stormtroopers into a situation, just like soldiers of Akka in, again, very archaic gear, but very clearly the black and gold that you're so familiar with. Just kind of like marching in lockstep and like subduing dwarves kind of left and right. And you see Gulper bow low to her and just kind of like think like a bit of like an Eartha Kitt as Catwoman kind of vibe of just like that imperiousness that's like alarming, kind of like no matter where she is, it feels like a palace. That kind of sort of like look and slight nod to him, and he rises, turns, and just like immediately points at a guy. And you can see that the dwarves are all very confused. There's like mass confusion going on. Reginald, I think to you, this would very much read as people who are not only unprepared for combat, but like are clearly soft enough that the idea of combat has literally never crossed their brains. Like an armed force is coming in, they're not even fleeing. They're just kind of like taken off guard and confused. There's a lot of people holding those little like tin cups you saw. There's just a lot of general confusion. And the person who's clearly wearing kind of an overseer's outfit, similar to what you've seen on the wall, just kind of gestures broadly and like, the fuck you talking about? And he's very clearly yelling something at this woman. And she just like shakes her head, and two soldiers walk forward and just immediately eviscerate this guy, just like cut him down. And they yank the sort of like very imperious chain off his neck, and put it around your neck, and immediately kind of like point further into the mine. And you sweep forward, just like clapping your hands, and you just get glimpses of like ordering of executions and just kind of general like the excluded guy who thought he was smarter than everyone is now important, and the cost that has as things are ground down. And the last image you get is of a dwarf with just kind of like a truly like heroically scraggly beard, like just a proper, like, takes a lot for a dwarf to look like a hippie, but like, man, this guy fucking figured it out. Super scraggly beard, big kind of unkempt hair, bit of a Karl Marx vibe to him, and he you can just see him like he's on a literal soapbox, just like yelling something to the crowd, and the last kind of glimpse you get is your own perspective kind of gesturing broadly, and then like pointing to him, and two Ka guards rushing forward and crucifying this guy as he's gesturing broadly, just like jamming blades through his hands, pinning him to a wall, and slashing his throat. And the last image you get is a slight spray of blood in your own face, standing near there, that you can taste in your mouth as Gulper, the man you are embodying, grins at the death of this man before turning towards his office just slightly to the left. And the last image you get is just kind of sweeping into your office.
Yeah, so he catches the skull, lives through all of these moments, and then projectile vomits onto Quinny. Just catch, spray, immediately back. And he's like, oh, that guy was not very nice. They call those good days for the Horde, but they end with a lot of crying, barfing, and PTSD.
Quinny spits to just kind of clear his lips, cleans out his eyes, the corners of his eyes where the vomit is collected, and says, so, you saw something, huh?
Yeah, that guy killed a lot of people to get in charge of this place. He was kind of a weird genocidal monster. I don't think he cared for unionizing from what I see. Seemed like a real problem. This guy didn't even like unions. Okay, well then this place is insane. Did you see anything about the black goo? I did not see so much about the black goo as much as I did just a collection of eviscerations and crucifixions and all of that kind of stuff. Hence, I'm going to need a new lunch.
Yeah. Quinny is now grabbing at I think what were like fairly fine robes of this fancy corpse. He's just kind of pulled them off the guy and is just toweling down his face and chest. Good
old-fashioned dead man's towel.
Running it in, running through his ears a little kind of thing. Getting all that nasty puke out of his face. And he says, well, so what was the deal with the little squiggly guys then? Like that was your dad's goo, right? Like goo monster that like took over his body when he died.
Oh, wait. So what happened with the goo here? Because so in my world, the goo was kept inside like a glass carrying case, and Daddy would talk to it, and if you got too close, he would hit you, but I don't know what it did. It came out of him when he was dead?
Well, let me tell you what he did, okay? It like hung out on a sword that he tried to kill me with, and then when he died, it like jumped off the sword, kind of, and then just sort of amalgamated into his body. He got huge. He got ripped. It scared the shit out of me. I had to get out of there. And I don't know. What did he say? He said something like, fine, it's yours or something. Like he talked to it. Like he had a deal or something. I don't know.
Okay, so some of it had a deal, so this has got to be like leftovers or like something. Butthole is just over at the table, just like praying. He's surrounded by mini buttholes that are still floating because the Hammer Guardians last like 10 minutes. So they're also picking up pages and just like moving them around. Not necessarily helpfully, but just like a lot of humming and like a lot of like there's no sound, but just doing those poses and like moving around this as the rest spin, just kind of watching. And he's letting this conversation happen. So maybe this is like maybe the goo is in the rat things, and it turns out there's no zombies. This is all just goo related. Maybe it was the king of the goos.
It seems like it's goo driving around different bodies and stuff, but...
Yeah, I mean, rather than king of the goos, it almost seemed like baby goo.
Oh, no, I meant maybe the one Archibald had on his sword.
Yes.
Like this world's daddy. Maybe that was king of the goo, and this is just like a goo farm. Maybe they have goo eggs.
Yeah, because that other goo was like... seemed
you were there,
intelligent.
Yeah,
this goo, I mean, they're kind of doing pointless things, these dwarves,
so
weren't they? I mean,
I don't know, maybe
weren't
it's
really
like
doing work, right?
Maybe it's like a contract thing, you know. I mean, I've dealt, in infernal contracts before, and, maybe they were beholden to stick around or something. They love this guy, and I stick my thumb out at a now headless, naked, desiccated corpse. Like they were all about this guy. Some of them.
Yeah, but see, the only thing that he really had going for him was that he was super handsome, and so am I, and they still tried to fight me.
Well, no, look at the skull in your hands. He's not handsome anymore. There's something else going on there.
Oh.
Well, hang on. Is any of this like an important sign of office? And I look at he had like rings all over his fingers and stuff, right, Tom? Did he have and he had something around his neck too, the chain?
Yeah. So
does any of this mean like
the chain,
I'm important?
The chain has the same icon as the little cups and the other, like, it's almost like a corporate logo. So Reginald, looking at, and Butthole for that matter, this isn't an Aka thing. This is just what you've seen elsewhere in the mine.
All right, I got a weird idea, says Reginald. Butthole's still flipping through pages, just kind of listening, but he's focused his otherworldly powers on trying to find if there's anything useful. So here's what I'm thinking, Quinny. If they cared about that guy, what if we put you in the dead naked guy's clothes and then put the necklace on you and give you his hat or whatever, and then you pretend to be him and see if you can command the goo?
I'll take the hat and the necklace, but I just wiped your puke off with this nasty, gross robe, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're trying to impersonate a police officer, you don't just take the badge and the hat and cut your losses on the uniform. You got to put it on, or people know that it's not the real thing.
Put on a police uniform that's 8 times your size.
And covered in vomit. Yes, we've all done infiltration missions before.
Well, why don't you wear it then? You got more in common with him than I do, right? You're a handsome guy, right?
Yeah, but no, 'cause he's a dwarf, so it'll be way too short on me. You're closer in height.
Oh yeah, he is a dwarf, so he's not actually that big on me. Sorry, I forgot that.
No, he's a lot broader than you, but we could maybe take one of the suits of armor, one of the archaic ones from next door, jam it under there, then bam, you'll be like a little fat dwarf.
This all seems like it's undermining my extremely high ability to be sneaky and now making me the center of attention with bulky armor.
I'm also...
Are we sure we want to do this?
Yeah, I mean...
How about you, Juniper? Do you want to take a crack at it?
Oh yeah, you could change
You could even like change your face and stuff.
I feel like Echo's got to get along with the goo if any of us are going to. We're in a terrifying underground mine. We've got a psychopath's costume and a bunch of goo that's apparently looking for like a father figure.
What do you think,
I wouldn't trust Grandpa Warwick. So I think Echo could definitely wear it.
All right. I don't know if you got any, magic for this, but this is a vomit-covered robe. I don't know if you can change that, but there you go.
No.
No? Well, all right.
Juniper kind of holds it up and like kind of beats it with the sword to try to like get the chunks at least to fall off.
Sure, you successfully de-chunkify the robe.
If you rub it on some of the dead ash people, maybe it'll all kind of flake off. You gotta let the barf dry out first. As a guy who's barfed on a lot of things and had to hide it from his dad, let me tell you, you need some sawdust or some sand, and then you don't get hit as much.
Reginald also worked in
over
theme
to a
parks.
pile of ash where the three of them died, and like pick it up and like scatter it over Maybe the ash will absorb some of the vomit.
All right, Juniper, roll me a
Elementary school janitorial check.
What am I rolling? Sorry,
sleight of hand
Sleight of hand?
or athletics
It's
if you just want to.
Oh, it's a 12.
All right, it's fine. You
athletics.
succeed. Just roll above a 1.
All right. I mean, can I stay in my chair or do I need to be like full echo?
Well, I imagine he seemed to sit in a chair. Was he in the chair when you puppeted him around, Quinny, or did you make him stand up and like do a dance?
No, I like moved his hand. That's about all I did.
Yeah, you're probably good in the chair then. This
All
guy
right.
seems like a chair guy.
Perfect. Juniper becomes Echo, and the creepy little girl dons the weird vomit-covered,
It's not vomit covered anymore. Now it's ash covered. That's fine.
Yeah.
ashy-covered. Weird dead guy's suit.
And the necklace. And he puts
the
that
hat.
on you.
And
this
and
weird
the
hat.
rings.
Oh, yep. We got to get the
yeah.
rings too. Quinny, you're going to have to hand over the rings.
That's fine. I gather them up. You said there was like an obscene number of rings on this guy's hands,
There
right?
truly are. Yes.
All right.
Like Mr. T would look at this amount of rings and be like, "That's too many rings."
All right. So Echo, put on as many here as you can manage. We can pocket the rest, and maybe they'll fetch us some decent coin.
And Laura, can you roll me a d6?
Yes. 1.
Okay. Echo's fingers are very small. There are many rings. It is an embarrassing, like, jangly stack. But this, my friends, is the tale of how truly Echo became the Lord of the Rings.
This episode of Dum Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum Dums and Dragons. Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Spot Allen, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG, it's Big Nick, D&D and Things, Norma Byers, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Flea Unit, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Melissa Rain, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.